Hi. Hi, this is Stace with Magic and Ink. Today I am celebrating my Ink-a-Versary. That is the 1-year anniversary of when I first became a collector of fountain pens. Naturally, I bought myself a present to celebrate this important occasion, and I hope you'll stay with me as I open it up to find out what's inside and talk a little bit about my journey as a new fountain pen collector. So as I said, September 21st is the first anniversary of when I became a fountain pen collector. It is not the anniversary of when I became when I bought my first fountain pen. I actually bought my first fountain pen about a month before that, the end of August 2024, and that pen was a Pilot Metropolitan. It's a very pretty, price-friendly pen. I wanted to find out if fountain pens were something I really wanted to go into. Both my daughters were collectors, and this was the pen that they had started with. And it was the pen that Jet Pens recommends as their starter fountain pen. And I was familiar with Jet Pens and had bought a lot of stationery from them over the years, so I was willing to test their recommendation. And I liked it a lot. It's really a pretty little pen, and of course it's purple. Everything I do is purple if I can. I got a medium nib, which is actually quite fine in comparison to other medium nibs. And I found that, I had cartridges with this at first. I didn't go into the ink bottles when I bought this pen. But after about a month of using that, I'm like, yeah, I want to keep using fountain pens. I want to stop throwing away disposable pens. So I went back and started investigating what my next purchase would be, having a little familiarity of what I liked and didn't like about this pen. So September 21st, 2024, I made my next purchase from Jet Pens, and that purchase was TWSBI Eco. What I liked about this was how much ink it held in comparison to the Pilot, which has a pretty small proprietary cartridge in it. And I loved the color and the fact that this is the glow-in-the-dark one. Not that I ever write in the dark, but I like the idea of it being glow-in-the-dark. I got a broad nib on this pen, which actually doesn't make it very ideal for a lot of writing. So I tend to, at this point in the game, as I'm learning more and more, I use like special effect inks in there with lots of shimmer. Went for doing headlines and titles and things like that. When I want something showy. Right now it has Pelican's Golden Lapis in there, which is one of my favorite inks that I found over the past year. But I'm getting ahead of myself. When I bought the TWSBI Eco, I also bought my first bottled inks. And the inks, I wanted purple ink, I knew that, and I searched and I searched and I searched for so many different inks, and I asked my daughters for recommendation. My oldest daughter is also a fan of purple, and her recommendation was J. Herbin Poissrière de Lune, which is moon dust, which is kind of a dusky, desaturated, darker purple. And I do have a bottle of that now, but I came to that later. The color I finally settled on was the Teranishi Fujiyama Iridori in Rin Purple, in part because of this beautiful box. I mean, look at it. It's so pretty. It's one of the few boxes I leave sitting out on display because it's so pretty. And it's also significant to me because it was my first favorite fountain pen ink. It's still one of my favorites. This is the bottle. It's a little bottle. I spilled some once, and now it's getting close to empty, so I'm going to have to buy a new one soon probably. And you can see that color here on my swatch card. It's a very dark, saturated purple. I like writing with darker colors as opposed to more pastel shades because my eyes are getting old and it's harder for me to read lighter text. So that was my first ink. But at the same time, I bought Sailor Nadeshiko, Sailor Shikori Nadeshinko, which is a light purple. I could show that one to you too. This is a very messy card, but that's the lighter shade. And this I bought specifically because it matched the eco colors. So who doesn't like their pens and inks to match? Anyway, that was what I bought a year ago today, and officially launched me on my year-long journey of learning all I could about fountain pens. And there's still so much I don't know. So I want to go over some of my favorite pens with you over the past year. This is probably the pen I use the most. This was a gift from my daughter. It's the Kaweco Brass Sport. This is the pen I use for my morning pages, which is why I use it so much. I don't know, there's something about the whole, it's heavy, yes, but the whole routine of sitting with it every morning and writing out my 3 pages is just, it's really, the whole experience feels right to me. So, and it's I guess it's limited. I might have trouble writing with this if I wrote for hours at a time, but for the 20 minutes I do my morning pages, this is great. And it has a medium nib. Probably my favorite pen is one that I didn't pick out. This was the mystery box from Gold Spot last April. This is the Esterbrook Model J that I got it sight unseen, and I love it. It's this beautiful purple shade. It has, right now it has a journaling nib on it, which is something I bought separately and put on the pen, and I really love writing with it. The color I usually keep in this pen is J. Urban, oh, what's the name of it? See, I'm terrible with names, guys. Violet Boreal, which is this shade. It's a little richer than the J. Urban Poisseur de Lune. That's the Poisseur de Lune. A little more vibrant. So that is the one I probably am going to grab if I want to sit and write and do some creative work. The other favorite pen is, this one's purely for the looks of it, I think. It's okay to write with. I mean, I don't hate it, but it is the Retro 51 Mermaid pen. Tornado Popper, I think, is the line. And that's, it's just fun to write with. I usually put a bright pink or magenta or something shimmery in there. I have a lot of other pens. I have a bunch of Ferris wheel press pens, the lower price, the plastic bodied carousel pens, which are inexpensive. I bought 3 of them pretty soon after I bought this one because they were fun, and I was buying Ferris wheel press inks, and but they're cheap pens, and they don't write it with a real satisfying flow. So I usually only pull them out and fill them up with something when I need a pen in a hurry with a different color than I already have inked. I do have a couple of the Ferris wheel press Bijou pens, which is their midpoint. This, of course, is the Lord of the Rings special edition that I just received last month with the calligraphy nib on it. You can watch my video about unboxing that and trying it out. But I also have a bijou in like a brushed gold that's really pretty, and I do use that occasionally. I have a Narval, I think they still pronounce it Narval, pen with, and I have, I really, I probably have about 15 pens at this point. And that number's going to go up to about 20 in the next couple weeks, partly because what's in this box, partly with some other pens that I've ordered recently that weren't coming in time for today's video, and for this Kaweco over here that I bought really impulsively yesterday. I have found over my year, I prefer writing with a medium nib, but I also like to experiment with different things. Like I recently bought a sailor pen. It's my first sailor pen. My older daughter really loves sailor pens, but every time I've tried one of her pens, it's been really scratchy with a lot of feedback, which I don't like. I know sailor fans do love it. She also uses very fine nibs. I prefer pens with a more flow and more smoothness to them. I don't want to be reminded of the nib in my hand, which is weird. Maybe that's weird. I don't know. So anyway, but I do like to experiment with new nibs. So I'm going to buy the Sailor with a zoom nib because I want to try different things. I like to try different brands. I like to try different sizes. I like to try that for me, I found is one of the things that I really like is trying different things. I don't want to buy the same thing over and over and over again. Except for purple. I will probably almost always buy a purple pen if there's a choice. As far as inks go, I really love, I just love the thrill of shimmery, sheening inks. I like the way it looks. I like the artisticness of it. Even if it doesn't always show up in the pen when you're writing with it, you can blop it on the plate paper and get a nice shimmery blob. I love that. Like you can see with the Lord of the Rings samples I did recently, they're just so gorgeous. So if I buy a lot of inks, it tends to be like fancy things like that, or just different shades of purple. I like to try out different shades of purple. You can see from my index here, I have purple after purple after purple. One of the best things I found, my greatest discovery as far as trying out different inks is being able to buy samples. There are some places that will sell you specific samples of an ink you want to try, or other places that send you random samples, and I think it's great. I have a bucket full of samples that let me just play with the colors and experiment without having to commit to a full-size bottle. I do have a lot of bottles too, and I will always get more. So that's what do I know about fountain pens? What have I learned? I've learned what I like. I like to experiment with different brands, different kinds of nibs. I like shimmery, shiny inks. I like trying new things. And I like medium nibs that are smooth and juicy and that flow really easily for when I'm doing my journaling or my creative writing. What I don't know is still, I think the next stage of my fountain pen journey is going to be learning more about materials and how to customize nibs myself, maybe. And I've been really, the last few days, I've been thinking about like, what does it take to like make a fountain pen? How can, if I wanted to make my own, how could I go about doing that? So I may be taking that journey over the next year, getting into some craftiness, because there's a limit on how many fountain pens a person can actually buy, but if you're making them, then there's no limit. I'm a crafter at heart, and so making things is always a thrill for me. So before I get into my birthday box here, anniversary box, not birthday box, I wanted to show you my impulsive purchase. We were at my local stationery store yesterday, M. Lovewell in Santa Ana, and I was there. I've been wanting to transition to a traveler's journal for my planning needs, and they've got a pop-up going on where you can build your own Kaweco Sport, and they have a specialized color for the year. Last year she showed me it was almost the exact same color, I think, as my Esterbrook. But this year is a lovely teal color, teal green. Can you see that? So I don't have any sports that are plastic, so I'm excited to have one. And I love this color, and I think it'll look really beautiful with the Jayerbon Emerald de Chevaux. I probably said that really wrong, but it's a gorgeous another one of my favorite inks. That's a dark green with a gold shimmer and a red sheen to it. So I bought this with a broad nib so that I could put that in there. And when you're putting it together, you insert the nib into they have little machines that you can pop them in, and you get your choice if you want to buy a converter or not. And they have another machine that you insert the finial yourself with, and you just kind of pull a lever and it all goes together, and it's a lot of fun. And I bought the little bit fancier pen clip for it. So that was my impulsive purchase yesterday, and it's really pretty, and I like it. And I will fill it up later. So let's get to the main event, which is my anniversary box. I bought from Jet Pens, of course. I've bought from many other vendors and online stores for fountain pens in the last year, but I decided to go back to Jet Pens for my anniversary. It seemed appropriate. My Ink-a-Versary. Now you may be curious about what pen I would choose for this big occasion, and it was kind of a surprise to me as well. I had a couple expensive pen purchases I'm making now or in the near future, things that are going to be released soon. So I didn't want to spend a fortune, and I ended up filling a hole that is in my collection that hadn't been filled yet. Where is this fastened together? So much tape here. Okay. All right, so you can probably already see, if you're a collector, you can probably already see that. My anniversary pen is a Lamy Safari. I don't generally like the design of Lamy pens, so I've never bought one before. But I thought if I'm going to be trying new things, I might as well try that out. What else have I got in the box? Well, this is a bottle of Amaranth ink from Diamine. That was a sample I got randomly in one of my last purchases from Gold Spot Pens. And my cat's over here sipping at my water. I don't know if you can see him or not, sticking his nose in. So I just really loved it. It's a dark magenta, and so I had to pick up a full-size bottle of that. And I also bought some bottles of ink that I have some real short holes in my collection. I don't have a lot of blues in my ink collection. I don't have greens, plain greens. I have some like teal greens, but no real greens, and except for the Lord of the Rings green, and no reds. So I decided I would just get some basic shades to fill in those gaps. I won't write with these colors a lot. I'll choose purple or teal more before I choose red or green or blues, but it's nice to have them available. So I went with J. Herbin Rouge Granat, and Eclat de Saphir. This is the one that Hemingway Jones is always raving about on his channel, so I thought I'd give it a try. And I can't even remember what I ordered, and it was only a few days ago. This one is Vert Forêt. My French is terrible. I apologize to all the French-speaking people in the world. So anyway, that's a dark forest green. And then I also bought a notebook. This is the Canso notebook by Jet Pens, an A5 Slim with dot grid paper. I have a little moleskin journal that I had on hand that I started recording what pen was inked with what, and just a record of my pens. Let me go grab it real quick. Okay, so it's this little book. I just happen to have it on hand, and I write down the date and the pens that I filled, and then I cross them out when I filled them with something else or cleaned them out. But this paper isn't really great. It doesn't show off the colors very well at all. In the back, I have an index of all the pens I've gotten so far. Bard, stop it. No. But it just doesn't look great. Color's not, the ink doesn't sit very well on the paper. So I thought I'd try something a little more, a little bigger and be a little more organized. And I bought the Canso. It has, I think it's Tomoe River paper in it. And I'm just gonna keep an index of a page for each pen, when I got it, where I got it, or who gave it to me, and what it's currently inked with. So that's my plan for that. I'm not going to show you that today. We're just going to set this aside and look at the pen here. Now, like I said, I'm not a fan of the Lamy design, but everyone talks about how it's a little too mid-century modern for me. That's why. But it's fine. I don't hate it. And since I could get it in, guess what? Purple, I thought I should probably go ahead and do it. This is the, I want to say Dark Dusk, but I don't think that's right. Yeah, Dark Dusk is the name of the pen. You can see that. It actually looks okay in this color. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a fan. A lot of people love their Lamys though, so let me see. Was there like a protective wrap around there or something? Yeah, it says remove. How are you supposed to remove it? I don't know. This is weird. Well, I guess I'll get it off later. Oh, that might help. Ha 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 ha! There's a little piece of cardboard. Okay. So that's it's converter. That's a nice Oh, that's a cartridge, but it's pretty big. I didn't think about needing a converter for this. So I can put it in, but I doubt it will write very soon. Dusty. I got a medium nib. Yeah, I'm sure. Of course I got medium. I think I've only bought one fine nib on purpose, and I didn't love it. It's in another TWSBI Echo. Maybe someday I'll sell it. Yeah, it's not going to write right away. Oh, there it goes. That's not too bad. Well, it writes pretty nicely. I like writing with it better than the Metropolitan, to be honest. But I think that's because this is a medium nib, and the medium nib on the Metropolitan writes more like a fine. This ink is pretty good too. Very kind of basic, but I will probably invest in a cartridge. I mean, in a converter. So I can put whatever color I want. Happy Ink-a-Versary to me. This is kind of exciting. I love my Ink-a-Versaries. I was going to do swatches of the 3 inks I bought, but I can't find my pipettes. So the best I can do for now is I'll do some writing samples. This is the J. Urban Forest Green. It's very dark. But nice. I mean, sometimes you want a dark green, right? And it's one of the things I need to learn about yet is classifying inks more, identifying wet versus dry. I'm just not very knowledgeable. I don't know if it's just that I don't pay enough attention to the right things. I don't know. Okay, this is the Rouge Grenat. I like that. That's a serious red. It says, you pay attention to me, but not too hard. I think I do have another red. It's a cherry red from Colorverse, but I never use it. So why would I buy another dark red? I don't know. This reminds me a little bit of the Lord of the Rings red. That's the Mordor color. It doesn't really show up as red, but I liked writing with that, but I only have a 10 millimeter bottle of that, so I don't want to use it too much. Okay. I'm saying nonsense stuff now. I go on too long on these videos, and it just becomes nonsense. Oh, the red really caught up in that. Look at that. It's kind of stuck up in there. Hopefully if I wash it out again, it'll come out. Okay, this is the J. Urban Eclat de Saphir. There's kind of purple tones in the bottle, which of course I love. My writing is terrible. Sorry for that. Yeah, when this goes down, it's a very violet blue. You compare it to the blue in the Lamy Safari up there. It's much purplier, which I like. I mean, I would almost classify this as a purple. Look at that, how it goes down. Yeah. Oh, well, I tried to buy blue ink, but I ended up with another purple. That's all right. It's my Ink-a-Versary, and I can have all the purple inks I want. So that's it for my Ink-a-Versary video. I hope you enjoyed discovering the Lamy Safari with me. I'm not going to do a review of this pen because there are countless reviews by people who are much more qualified about doing reviews than I would do. All I can tell you is that I liked writing with it, and I like the really dark purple color, and my cat Bard approves too. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time here on Magic and Ink. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more fountain pen content from me. Bye-bye.